Alright, before we start, I want to give you a list of people who were supposed to fight on UFC 149. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen, Jose Aldo, Eric Koch, Michael Bisping, Akiyama, Alves, Hua, Silva, Thiago Silva that is, Brandon Vera, Bibiano Fernandez, George Roop, Big Nog, Badr Azada, and Claude Patrick. And now we bring you the actual UFC 149.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Hey, what up? It is EOB for Way of the Warrior talking UFC 149, the main event, not Urijah Faber and Dominic Cruz. It is, in fact, Urijah Faber and Renan Barão. Renan Barão was supposed to fight last week in that Ivan Menjivar fight that Mike Easton took. Mike Easton outworked Ivan Menjivar, so this turns out to be a great decision in the eyes of the UFC. You have Urijah Faber, a guy who's only been knocked out twice, once by Mike Brown and once by Tyson Griffin. Other than that, he's been bested in decisions. So this could be an absolute war. Renan Barão, his submissions are absolutely sick, and Renan Barão is big trouble for Urijah Faber. Renan Barão has not lost yet. Lost in his very first fight 28 fights ago, and since then been on a tear. 3-0 in the UFC and is ready for this shot. A lot of people are writing him off because maybe they're not familiar with Renan Barão. And as you see, we've been playing some stuff from Renan Barão so you can kind of get used to what he looks like in the octagon. He is a beast. Urijah is going to have his hands full. His wrestling, obviously, is hard to top unless you're a really decorated striker. Renan Barão likes to strike, and Renan Barão likes to knock you out. I think he's going to knock Urijah Faber right out. If you're watching Saturday Night on Strikeforce, you got to see this. And if you saw that, you thought to yourself, Tyron Woodley, I thought he was really good in Strikeforce till somebody from not in Strikeforce came and pounded him in the face. That could be the very same thing that happens on Saturday night, as Hector Lombard makes his UFC debut after leaving Bellator to take on Tim Boetsch. Tim Boetsch, a beast of a fighter, but Lombard is no slouch and a guy that needs to be seriously contended with. Now, Chris Weidman is going to say that he's the guy to take on Anderson Silva next. Hector Lombard has made no bones about it. He wants to win this fight and get into a title fight. What will happen? I'm not really sure. I like this fight on paper. I think it should be a good test for Lombard, but ultimately, I think Lombard's going to get past Tim Boetsch and be in the hunt for whoever is going to face Silva next. Will it be Weidman? I don't know. Will it be Lombard? It really depends if Lombard can out-surprise the world, because let's make no bones about it. Chris Weidman absolutely decimating Mark Munoz, number 10 ranked in the world, shellacking number 5, surprised a lot of people. Will Lombard do the same thing? Could happen. Saturday night, I'm going to pick Lombard to win this one. And this is where the card kind of starts to fall apart. Cheick Kongo had obviously a much better opponent earlier, and now is taking on Shawn Jordan, who has only one fight in the UFC when he fought in Australia. Other than that, he's been lackluster at best in Strikeforce and should be an easy bout for Cheick Kongo to get past. Now let's hope that Cheick doesn't get ahead of himself and look beyond him and look like somebody who may be named Mark Munoz and not actually get in the title hunt at all. I think if Cheick Kongo can train properly and focus on Jordan and get past Jordan, he's a very scary dude to contend with at heavyweight. Cheick Kongo for the win. The bonus fight for the night to pay attention to is the rematch between Court McGee and Nick Ring. In the Ultimate Fighter, they fought to a decision. Obviously, Nick Ring wins that one, then he gets injured and cannot finish this season. That said, he was one of the guys that they picked to win the whole thing. Lots of people were rooting for him to win the whole thing. Now he's in the UFC. He obviously lost to Tim Boetsch in his last fight in September, but ready to get on the winning tread. And I think a rematch with Court McGee is a great way to reset that. I'm going to pick Nick Ring to win this one. The Canadian takes home the victory, and that is my bonus pick. You can get all of the action we're covering all weekend long on our Twitter and Facebook just below. Check out Wow Show on Twitter and Facebook. And then check out the show. Friday nights at 6 o'clock. In Grand Rapids, 8 o'clock on Friday in Detroit, and then everywhere else, Cincinnati and Rochester, you can find it on iHeartRadio. It is Way of the Warrior. We'll catch you next week.